Good morning, friends. Sorry for the delay. Of course, you all came at 10 o'clock and now at 10:30. Now, I'm very happy that all of you are here. I'm extremely happy about it. Now, the thing is that today the topic what we are talking about is the labor reforms and the labor code. You see, both the topics are highly voluminous. Highly voluminous. In fact, the time what is allowed now is not sufficient at all. So I have to try my level best to compress it as much as possible, but I will give you a main salient features of the entire thing. Particularly for HR people, particularly for HR people, I personally feel that one must be thorough with the labor reforms. Thorough with that, because that's the basic foundation of industrial jurisprudence. That's how we should really understand conceptually how the whole thing developed through labor reforms today, what we are talking about, various laws, etc., etc., etc. So if you have to get a competency on labor management, if you have to get competency on I feel that you have to be thorough with the labor reforms. So that's exactly what I attempted to do. So that will be easy thing that one will study the labor and understand the labor laws. Then your understanding codes will never be a difficult one. That's exactly that. Now, before I really start, let me give you some small introduction. You see, the word labor reforms is a very, very familiar word to all of us. Not now, for the last 30 years. It's a very familiar word. You know, in all the budget speeches by central finance minister, when they present the budget, he or she will make a statement. The government has decided that we'll take initiative for labor reforms. Then all of us get enthused. Okay, let me do this. Go. Yeah, CII, FE, everybody will say, welcome, 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 welcome. Then after 1 week, the trade union says, we'll go on strike. We'll go on a mass strike. We are against this labor reforms. Then what happens? The whole thing kept in dark. Finished. That's exactly what has happened. In my experience, what I've seen is this, the budget speak makes, these will threaten for a strike, and the matter is over, and matter is forgotten. That's exactly what's happening. So, the labor reforms is such a very, very sensitive topic. Everyone looks for, the government looks for a purpose, right? And then the business looks for some results. The trade union, the workers, they look for something else. So the combination of everything is a little complicated. But now I tell you, labor reforms in India, it's not today's. It is as back as 1931. When British India was here, the period goes back to that. The intention was that, probably all of you are aware, pre-independence, how the Indian situation, all of you know about it. Because on account of First World War in 1920-21, lot of drastic effects have happened. Rising cost of living, unemployment in the country, and then the people were not able to eat themselves. And of course, the British were there, they got their own style of management. And they got their own this one. And they used to hire people, not directly, because they don't know whom to recruit. They used to give some agencies to hire. So the agent used to supply them ex-labor, point of labor. We don't know what salary he's going to give. And what are the timings? Nobody knows. There was no control at all. There was no control. Under the wages, there was no control. They were paid very poor wages. Total exploitation of labor was taking place. For all these things happens. Now what happened? The welfare and health was a big major issue at that time. Accidents, no compensation. Children, they were employed in the workplaces. No restriction. Women, they were exploited. All these things were happening at a very, very rapid rate. Now, at that time, 1910 or 20, One prominent trade union leader, I think his name is Dr. P.K. Shinde, or Shin or something, I forgot about it. He took a lot of initiative. He said that he totally said that this must be put an end to this because total resistance started. Then what happened? The British government thought, okay, let us think of assessing the situation. Let us try to understand what is the situation. Then let us try to reform certain things. This is the background of the labor reforms. I'll just quickly take you through one by one. So as I said, all the labor reforms, the government looks for some point of view. They said, we want national economic growth, employment opportunities, and then good fair wages for everybody, good tax return, everything government looks for, nothing wrong in it. Now here the employer, we look for foreign direct investments. We want to invite, and the return on investments. We can't lose this investment on account of this. At the same time, we create employment. We want to pay good salaries for the people. We want to encourage this. So this is exactly what the industry looks for. And here, the trade union, as I said already, they look for one thing. We want to protect our rights. We want to protect our welfare. We want to see that our workers get better wages, best wages, and good living conditions. We fight for it. So this is how the everybody looks for. What happens, all these activities must be balanced. But the crux of the issue. Because you can't be one-sided. If you're one-sided, the triangle goes like this. If the triangle wants to be stable, it has to be highly balanced. So this is the trick of labor reform. Now let us go through how the whole thing happened. Quickly click through because the time is also enough. Okay, I told you already, as back as 1929, the formed, and 1931 the report came. And let us also look at, in the meantime, the government also took a lot of initiative. After independence, they formed various committees, establishments, so many things they did. That also added to a lot of things. I'll just quickly take you through that also, if possible. We have got 3 Labour Commission reports. In 1931, 1969, and 2002. We got 3. You see, the thing is that India, right from beginning, they want to become a developed nation in the world. That is the ambition and objective they have. They want to make India as a model in terms of everything. So, from that point of view, of course, whatever effort they have put in, let us see. But the objective is very clear. They are keen on that. They are not like any other country, okay, let's not worry about it. They are very keen. They said, we must do this, let us do this, let us do this. This kind of a thing. Now, 3 Labour Commission report has come. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many of you have gone through these reports. I'm not very sure. But if you put all 3 reports, it contains around 3,500 pages. 3,500 pages. Now, as a first time, I thought that let me do something. So I read the whole thing, all the reports, and make it as short as possible. With 200 pages in the book, I have put it. I have compressed important issue, important points, I have put it. Now, today in presentation, I have to further compress to only 30 or 40 slides. Look at this. Anyway, I will do my best. Okay, this I will take through. Now, here let us look at the reference by British government. It will be very important to inquire into and report the existing condition of labor in industrial undertaking and plantation in British India on health, efficiency, standard of living of the workers, and on relation between employers and employed, and to make a recommendation. Look at this reference. Reference is a very focused one because they know the existing problem what they have. The situation in India, he said, let us focus on that. So this is the thing what they have done. So the commission, first of all, they appointed in 1929, and then October 30 they started. They traveled around 16,000 miles throughout the country, visited 180 establishments, 490 memorandum, 830 witnesses, and submitted a report to the Parliament in England. What are the things they did? The migratory and factory workers, what is the situation of migratory and factory workers? It's a beautiful study made by them. Because what happened, some factories were there, everything was there, but people are all migrated from village to urban, village to urban. When a person migrates, what are the types of problems we face it? Any number, plenty of issues, plenty of problems. Housing will not be there. I don't know what to do. Or health is. So all these issues was a major, major issue. Then hours of work, I told you already. No specific conditions of work were horrible. This is the kind of thing. Then condition of plantation was worst. Then wages, no control at all. He gets it, or he doesn't get it. This is the kind of thing. Then unregulated factories. You see, today, of course, today we got Factories Act. There is a regulated. You see, if you're more than 10, you have to take license. If you're more than 20, you have to take license. When you take a license, you are regulated. At that time, no regulation at all. Without license, the factories are running, unregulated. 40, 50, okay, enjoy it. No regulations. So this is a major issue. And trade union and dispute. Here, the peculiar thing is at that time, trade union was coupled with our freedom movement. The freedom struggle was going on at that time, the trade unions coupled it. So there was an added problem and everything connected with this. Then housing and accident compensation was a big mess. And income and indebtedness of industrial workers. So these are the topics that completely deliberated and then came out with a specific recommendation. I told you already. Now, on account of this outcome, look at this. On account of this outcome, 13 legislations were enacted to address all the concerns raised by the Labour Commission, Royal Commission. 13 acts were enacted. All these things, Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wages Act, Factories Act, ID Act, Plantation, Mines Act, ESI, PF, Working Conditions, Journalists, all these acts, it came out of this. Look at this. At least now what happened, some kind of a discipline has been brought, and then, in fact, employers welcome this. Because today I'm running an industry with no regulations. But today I'm running an industry with regulations means, okay, it's a good thing for me. So industry also welcomed this kind of a move. This is exactly what happened. So aiming at the working population, I told you in this short, study was conducted on all these things. Study related to working conditions they did. Recommendation into the legal system by way of suitable legislation, I told you already. And then studies and recommendation highly elaborate. All these things were employment of women based on several recommendations also have been made. So this is a wonderful thing made. This is from the point of view of working population. Now let us see from the population of industries, how the industries looked at this recommendation. 30 new legislations were introduced as per the list above. Yeah, it's a positive thing for the employers also. While Commission appreciated the business growth, but no adequate support towards accomplishment of business growth. That was not given. Maybe for a different reason, because what happened at that time, just industry is looking at, so we can't expect too much of support for them, but that was not much. See, the objective commission to study and evaluate condition, its recommendation, it was only beneficial to the employee as well as employer. And there is no, of course, legal support to employers in terms of productivity, rationalization, even automation. There was support. Okay, that we need not worry about a small thing. Even today, so we are having this. The entire report, one can see no support indicated to employers, but the support was given by way of legislations. In short, this is the, the scenario of first Labour Commission, Royal Commission. Now, let's come to the next one. Now, in 1947, we got the independence. The moment we got the independence, the government of India committed to carry on and improve the entire thing, like industrialization, employment, all these things they wanted to do it. In 1950-51, what they did? They introduced 5-year plans. 5-year plan, all of you are very familiar. On account of 5-year plan, it aimed at a lot of growth and expansion, etc., etc. And this one, the intention of the government, one of the intention was that they wanted to generate huge employment. That is the reason why if plans were introduced, and then the government thought we'll form public sector industries. What they did was that they made a lot of public sector industries through this plan. The public sector industry is mainly to focus, only emphasis on to give as much employment as possible because the private sector cannot give. Private sector cannot give employment because of so many things. So then what happened? This how the whole thing developed a little bit. No financial support to private sector to survey on their own. This is a major drawback for the industries till 1969. The broad scenario. No finance. They said that if you want money, you go and borrow. That's it. We can't give any support. So this is the situation for the private sector. This is a major drawback in the private sector. Then another major thing is that this Industrial Development Regulation Act, they impose heavy restrictions on private to expand, even to increase their manufacturing capacities. This has put a lot of restrictions under this act. If you want to expand your factory, you can't. Unless you go and go approach the government and request them, blah, 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 everything, we will not give it. If you want to add one more product, what you are manufacturing, you are not free. You have to go to government, seek their approval and all that. Who will give? It is not that easy to give. Suppose you want to make a component, we have to prove that this component is market worthy and I am going to sell it, it is going to be a profitable thing. Otherwise, no, please, no, it's not possible. Because I've seen with my own eyes the industries, what they were fighting at that time. In fact, I was in one company where MD went to abroad and then he wanted to bring some kind of a, not even machinery, simple technology, that's it. To that, we applied for permission. We almost took 1.5 years to get the approval. By the time, the technology is outdated. So this is the problem the private sector face under this scenario. And that's why I told you, any proposal, full capacity utilization, location, everything they had. In addition, the increased industrial unrest due to. Because what happened is, if you take the industrial unrest, because workers were demanding, definitely nothing wrong with them. They want better condition, they want higher salary, and they were doing it. But the employers, they got limited capacity. They don't have capacity because you have to fight only with internal competition. Internal competition with public sector undertakings. So there is no capacity. So you can't pay. Then what happened? This led to a lot of industrialists. We went on and a lot of strikes, lockouts, whatnot, everything went on. In addition, 1969, one more act they brought into force. This is called MRTP Act. This is one more other tough. They said your foreign equity you can't take. Foreign equity, you have to prove. Why do you want this foreign equity? And that too, not for all the products. They selected few important products. And they said, for this we'll give you some kind of a equity. So even also foreign equity was not possible. So what happened? Foreign firms were not allowed to invest more than 40% of their equity. Who is interested? Private sector. So this is another major blow to industries. In certain industries, 51% foreign capital, but you are subjected to a lot of restrictions in terms of obtaining licenses, clearances, etc. During this period also, we saw unrest was very high. We saw a lot of strikes, violences, whatnot, everything we saw at this point of time. This is scenario after independence up to 1969. Then again, as I told you already, post-independence. Now thereafter, the government thought, okay, now everybody is facing this problem, private sector is facing this problem, there are a huge industrial unrest, this is going on. Now why not we form one more reform commission and then we'll give a reference to that. Then accordingly, in 1969, second commission, first labor commission headed by Dr. Gajendra Gadkar was formed. Now this was the beginning, first one. Now look at the references. It's very interesting. See, look at one. To review the changes in condition of labor since independence and report existing condition of labor. So they say that review previous condition, review the present condition and give a report. That's it. Nothing else. And secondly, to review the existing legislation and the provisions intended to protect the interests of labor, to assess their working and advise how far these provisions are served to implement the directive principles, state policy, and national objectives is this one. See, if you see this reference, nowhere the industry is seen here. They say, look after this and give you a report. You study this and give us a report. So this is exactly what they did on that. Now here, all topics they discussed. If you see the report, it's a very, very elaborate discussion. Now, gentlemen, why don't you go? As a matter of interest, you must read this. You must see this because I told you already, this is a basic foundation of your international jurisprudence. Because here, though I have only made a point, each topic has been deliberated by the Commission in very much detail with lot of data, statistics, and logic. Because the stakeholders are unions represented, management represented, the government people they represented, NGOs represented. So all these things I put here in this report. So this is worth reading. I think you must read this. Of course, the shortage of time I am not able to go further, but it's a must. You must read this because I told you already it's very important. So again, I told you it's only discussion and recommendatory. This report was discussion recommendatory. And integrated social security, they also recommended at that time. They said that social security scheme, what we have, so like ESA, PF, etc., why not we combine it? Like what we are thinking now, they thought at that time itself, why not we combine it? So this kind of thing. Then also they took up the recognition of trade union. This also point was brought up. And tripartite reservation systems. This will encourage tripartite reservation systems. And here also they mention common labor code. See, look at this. So this is the first initiation by one of the commission on common labor code. They gave a lot of reasons for it. Then Industrial Relations Commission, they said that, okay, let's not go to tribunal, let's not have this. We will have industrial relations commissions. Instead of tribunals, we'll have commissions, we'll do it. That was the recommendation made at that time. Then joint management councils, they said. And then, although the definition of industry, workman, wages strike were discussed, but nothing happened. They said, no, we will not touch it. Existing, let it be here. We will not touch it. Because they went to the, probably, the definition of industry probably were very familiar. The three phases of interpretation went to definition of industry. In early 1970s, one phase, the definition of industry means it was interpreted that hospitals are excluded, education institutions are excluded, charitable institution, factory means industry only. It was a limited affair. But thereafter, again, second phase came, it was expanded. They said, no. Hospital must be included in industry because people work there. Education institution, people work there. Maybe teaching staff or non-teaching staff, they work. I think we should do this. So again, it was on account of a BW versus Rajapa's case. They gave a beautiful judgment, wonderful judgment, expanding everything. So they said, okay, we will not touch it. So they didn't do anything on that. Now, what are the aims at working population? Changes and conditions independent, only report, that's all. They gave a report. Okay, this is kind of thing. Advise how far the previous implementation, state policy, constitution, labor matters, and objectives, social society, achieving planned economic development. This is also just advisory. This is not a specific point for please do it. No, it is not that. It is just advisory. This is exactly what they did. Then also they emphasize education, training, skill development. This also they said employers must think of this. All this. They put the responsibility on the companies. You do this. This is kind of thing. They reduce unemployment, then protect collective individual rights guaranteed in the Constitution, ensure fairness and equity with working population. So the legal support to industries, most of the recommendations are addressed to employers. There is no support. It's only advice. You do this, you take care of this. So nothing much happened in this case. Appreciate the business growth. They appreciate, the commission appreciate, oh yeah, business growth is fantastic. It is very good. That's right. But thereafter, they kept quiet, no support. In what way we can support the industry? Either a finance or by something. Nothing came through. This is another major problem. When here, number of strikes and lockouts were a common phenomenon at that time. No stringent measures even think of to remedial measures. Nothing. They even saw number of strikes, but nothing happened. No incentives for foreign direct and promote industrial goals recommended. They also did not recommend anything, foreign direct investment. So this kind of thing. No legal support to industry and challenge to automation and rationalization, no support. See here in this report, we can see the report, it is not supporting the industry in any manner. It is just ready made and they advise you, you do this, you do this, you do this. But don't ask me any support. You do this, that's all. So this is the kind of recommendation they gave in this one. Now let us take the scenario between 1970 to 2002. How is the scenario? Now here, as I told you already, monopoly is here, trade practice is already there. And then what happened, era of liberation started in 1980. Here what they did, they gave very slight leverage, a slight leverage of what they call the capacity indicated in license could be re-endorsed provided it was 25 more than the license capacity. Then automatic re-endorsement license capacities in 1988. Then broad banding and selective delicensing extended only 25 set of industries. But here also, employees had no liberty to do on own. They had no liberty. They had to approach Government of India. They had to approach the bureaucracy. They have to seek their approval. If you have to seek their approval, you have to provide lot of data, approve, witnesses, whatnots. So here, the bureaucracy played a big hell and a big game. The bureaucracy. So industry also here faced major triangular cases in this case. One side, you have labor unrest. Another side, you can't expand your own capacity. If you want to expand your capacity, you have to go to the Government of India, elaborate process, time, or whatnot it takes. And this is a scenario at that time. Then, in addition, the ID Act was amended in 1976. Layoff, retirement closure, make a major hit. And of course, Section 9A, service conditions that remain to be continued with all these things. So, no touching, nothing was done. So, actually, industry faced a lot of issues and problems. So, in 1969 to 89, the industry faced innumerable number of strikes and lockouts with violences. In fact, I was there I've seen this scenario in late 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, I have personally seen. In this period, the number of strikes and lockouts and violence was terrible. Not even one industry is free of anything in at least two or 3 days. It's not possible. Every day, there's a major issues we faced at the time. Then here, same thing. Then what happened? You have Bangalore publicity strike, HAL, HMT, BEL. They went on strike for more than so many months. And in Bombay, what happened? Textile industry headed by Datta Samant, probably you may be aware. The strike went on for 3 years. 3 years. And ultimately what happened? Everything finished. All textile unit in Bombay finished, and people went like, it was not the word, they were totally, they were living on all unwanted occupations they do, and this is suffering they did. So this is the effect of the entire thing, what the industry and people saw during this period. Then here in the meantime, some interesting developments. Some Government of India, what they did, they formed this National Labour Law Association in 1980. They drafted an Indian Labour Code. They drafted one because somebody said, well, let's do it. Actually, this commission consisted of eminent people like the judges, highly qualified advocates, trade union leaders, whatnots. They deliberated. They said, we'll do it. But of course, all again, cold storage. And task force for employment opportunity chaired by Dr. Monica Ahluwalia. This also they formed. Then major amendments of Trade Union Act, this is another dangerous thing what they did. 1988, I don't know how far you remember, there are major changes proposed in the ID Act and Trade Union Act. Major change. But of course, there was a lot of reactions and oppositions were there. Then Government of India, what happened? They referred the bill to one Ramanujan committee in 1990. Ramanujan committee. So Ramanujan committee sat for almost for 2 years and then they gave their own bill. But ultimately, nothing happened. So this is a kind of scenario, friend. And Sanatana Mehta committee on child welfare. The task force on social security. Look at here. Here also, unification of ESA, PF and pension schemes. So that committee recommended. I said, we want to combine it, make it a combined. There's a kind of reaction they give. And Booth-Lingam Committee on National Wage Policy. Booth-Lingam Committee. They also formed. They went to all these committee reports, I tell you, it's really wonderful, I can tell you. Please go through this because it will enhance your knowledge like anything. Because a lot of data has been put, a lot of logic has been put. So you should be able to understand and then, your mind will be very clear about this is the kind of logic they have put. You should appreciate the logic. Outcome is different thing, logic. Then National Commission on Rural Child Welfare, Dr. Harman Roy in 1991. A National Commission on Self-Employed Women and Women in Informal Sector by Mrs. Elia Bhatt in 1988. Because in all the commission report, this was a major issue. Look after the women and women employment and this one was a major issue. So this commission was formed. They also gave a lot of recommendations. Then afterwards, gentlemen, we have come to the liberalization era in 1981. Now this total scenario is going to be changed. It changed. In fact, when this reforms came, actually nobody anticipated, I can tell you, this come just like an ordinance. One fine day, I think P. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister, on one fine day, he just made a press statement and removed the entire thing. So it came a big shock to everybody because your product is thrown globally open. That is the kind of thing. So, abolition of industrial licensing. They said you don't have to worry about it. If you have capacity, you manufacture whatever you want. They're totally removed. And then simplification of procedures. Then reduction in public sector reserve for that's also eliminated. Then disinvestment selected public sector undertakings. Foreign investors were allowed to invest in Indian firms. Today, that's why now we are seeing all MNCs just flooding in, coming in. Why? Because of this policy. Then liberalization and trade, rationalization, massive reduction in trade structure, and all these things came in 1991. I guess sudden it came. Now here what happens? The industry have to survive. If they have to survive, they have to bring new technology. They have to rationalization, automation, increase in capacity, not only increase in productivity, reduce the cost of production as much as possible to meet the global competitiveness. Otherwise, who is going to take your product? So this became a major challenge to industries. Now here, what happened? We had a bottleneck. Section 9A. You can't change it. If you want to modernize anything, you have to go and beg with the union and take their approval. Otherwise, you have to go to government. If you go to government, it's a matter of dispute. Go for years together, nothing happens. So this became major bottleneck for the industries and all these things. So this is a major hurdle. And there was no legal support to industries in this company. There was no legal support at all. Yes, we have done it. If you want, you survive on your own. That's it. So this kind of a peculiar thing, this happened. Then, for first 3 years, in fact, I was there at that time, first 3 years, we took 3 years to educate the union and the workmen about the effect of globalization. We had to educate them. We had a number of sessions, classes. We told them, Baba, this is the effect of globalization. So you have to involve yourself. You come with us. You help, then we will help you. We'll take care of this. Similarly, we convinced the trade union leaders, and ultimately they understood. So this took almost 3 years, gentlemen. 3 years, I can tell you. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen it. 3 years we took to just to educate them and bring them to one line of thinking. Then what happened? On account of this, we shifted to collaborative approach rather than confrontation. Because everybody learned that in this situation, I can't fight with people. I want help, I want cooperation, let me collaborate. Okay, you give me something, I will give you something. So this kind of a culture started. It's exactly what the employers did, that's all, nothing much. And of course, we should compliment the trade unions because they also appreciate the view and they extended full support and they became a what do you call, part and parcel of the entire exercise. So here what happened, the industry scenario changed from collaborative, from confrontation. This is a major issue. Here, look at here also. There is no government support in this matter. It's all initiative by the industry, by the management, by the workers, by the trade unions and everybody. Nothing else. So this approach, then what happened? The number of strikes and lockouts drastically reduced. Drastically reduced, I can tell you, because everything you have to discuss. In fact, when we wanted to modernize our factory in Pinya, when we involved them, it became very easy thing. Of course, we had to educate them, but it was easy. Similarly, in all the problem, you also undergone the same. You would have got the same experience on this. So this is the benefit of the entire thing. Now, after this, because what happened? We were pressing the government that no, you remove this restriction, you remove this, you remove this restriction, this kind of thing. I can tell you one small incident. I was the chairman, I was the secretary of NIPM Karnataka branch in 83-84. At that time, all these petitions where we were filing it to government, please relax 9A, please relax this, please relax that, and all that we were making. Then PM Sangma was the labor minister. He had come to Bangalore. So we invited him for a talk and then we made a big representation to him. Sir, we want this, we want this, we want this. You know how lightly he took it, I'll just tell you. He said, okay, friends, all of you are here. I'm very happy. I've seen your presentation. You want change in section 9A? We all said, yes, sir. Okay, granted. And he said, you want to remove chapter 5A, 5D Act? Yes, sir, we said. Okay, that is done. And he went up, that's all. What happened? So this is the kind of thing what happened. But anyway, now here in this commission, now please read the reference. This is very important. 2002, latest second commission. Rationalization of existing laws relating to labor in the organized sector. Look at the reference. And secondly, suggested umbrella legislation for ensuring minimum level protection to workers in the unorganized sector. Okay, that's fine. Look at the first reference. You review, as far as the organized workers are concerned, review the laws and give the recommendation. So this is the point of reference by the Government of India to this commission. And thereafter, here, there also they identified certain factors. The globalization of industry, liberation, trade and industry. Okay, give me a report. And then rapid changes in technology and the consequences and ramifications, give a report. And the effect of these changes are likely to have on nature and structure of industry, on methods and place of production, on employment and skills necessary to retain employability, etc., etc. Look at the point of reference. And the responses that are necessary to acquire, retain economic efficiency and international competitiveness. So, gentlemen, here also, if you can see this point of reference, don't you think that is just one-sided? You are fighting, nobody looked into this. So, this is the kind of the report in second commission. Here, on key observation, you can see, I told you already. Now here, to start with, working permission but not the industry. That's a point of reference. They said, okay, we look up to this one, but we're not here. This is very clear on this issue. The terms of reference they give is all theoretical approach. Industrial development progress, impact of globalization, they were not only India, For various countries, they made a big study and gave a big report. I mean, I don't know what it, so that's a different thing. Approach to review laws. They wanted to consider all these our issues, like our Section 9A and this and that thing, everything. They reviewed, ultimately they said, okay, no change is required. Not necessary. Let's not worry about it. So just left it at that. Then review of laws, unorganized sector, they had an excellent study. They made a wonderful study of unorganized sector, how the unorganized sector should be protected in all respects. They made a fantastic report on it's worth reading it because you will get a lot of ideas. Then women and children, skill development. Skill development also they give a very good, suggestions they have given. This is very good. Fine, that's all. And of course, they have discussed workers' participation in management and then employment scenario, review of wages and wage policy, all these things. But ultimately, this is only a report recommendations. But again, I told you already, no specific support to the industry in any manner. So this is the kind of thing. And then here, at this strong point made by employers stand toward if completely positive effect cannot be accommodated, here we argued. We argued strongly that if you had to get the benefit of globalization, impediments under labor laws must be removed, otherwise we can't do it. That is a strong point urged by the employers. You know what the committee said? Look at this. Response by the committee. This is exactly what I have taken from the report. It's not my words. These sentences I have taken from the report and put it here. They said that labor laws are not coming in the way. That is their findings. Depends very much on managerial skills and integrity and honesty. It depends on that. You've got your set of managers. It depends on their efficiency, effectiveness, forecast, whatnot. You have to utilize your managerial skills to encounter all this problem. Labor also is not a problem at all. It is not coming in the way. This kind of logic they put. Then look at this. This also is taken from the report only directly. Creation made a conducive culture and it depends on individual worker and his attitude to work. So how do you build up attitude? You have to do it. You have to make him comfortable. That's your job. Condition of work that relate to work. Then management and attitude to workers. What is my attitude to workers? I have to change myself. So normal, so before itself and commitment and a sense of play, justice to constituencies. So clearly they said, forget about it. They said, here also, this is also taken from the report only. What they say, hire and fire is constitutionally valid. Because they say, no one can, trespass into the individual rights. Workers have got a right to go on strike. Management has got a right to declare lockout. We can't trespass, so we can't trespass. So this is the kind of thing what they did. And they also put another thing. See, let's say for instance, you want to lay off people. You want to retrench people. What they say is that social acceptance is necessary. It means that the entire society must accept with you, yeah, I think layoff is required, retirement is required. You have to sell yourself to community and the union and the workers. That's your job. It's not anybody's job. So social acceptance. You have to take it. Then do it. So this is the justification made by them to say that no change in law is required for this. It's all new hands, do it. This is the kind of thing. But it's emphasized same thing. Here again I repeat, it depends on effectiveness of manager, not by changing laws. So today what we are seeing is, did not recommend any changes. The commission report, they did not change any report and this one. So finally it concluded no changes in laws are warranted. This is the final conclusion of the entire report. Now, of course, they talked on other things like living wages, what we are talking today, and fixation of evidence-based facts, that's ILO and Supreme Court direction. Now, today we are seeing, the fact-based wages. There is so many calories, this, and so many things. So based on this must be given. And also they said national level floor minimum wages. This also they recommended. They recommended with, of course, justifications and whatnots. And they also emphasized the recognition of trade unions and negotiating agency councils and grievance redressal machinery. So here also Commission put a word. The aggrieved must be provided an opportunity to approach the cancellation officer. Here itself they put it. So the same thing you are finding in the code also now. So they said that worker must be liberty to approach either arbitration or conciliation. He must be able to go. They have put it. And the contract labor, they also recommended distinguished core and non-activities. They cited the example of Maharashtra. They said, we have done it, so why not you people also do it? There's a recommendation made by the commissioner at the time as far as contract labor is concerned. Then, of course, what are the commission also drafted the bills. Today, what we are seeing in the codes is all bills drafted by the commission itself. It's annexed to the report. They drafted law on wages. What we see today, code on wages, the same thing is drafted by them. Model standing orders, this also they drafted. And small enterprises in Renaissance Act 2002, that is, this aimed at small industry like less than 20, how they should function, what they should manage. So they drafted an act separately for small industries. They did it. And law on labor management relations, this they did. Gentlemen, look at here. This is one thing. The commission strongly recommended the managerial people also must be given equal protection under the act. Against today, since they are not workmen, we do anything whatever we want. But commission said nothing doing. They also should have protection. So if you want to dismiss a manager, you have to follow all the principles. You can't do unfair dismissals. So in the bill, they include this also. Protection of managerial and other employees against unfair dismissal, denial of remuneration. Inside in this bill, they included this also. But of course, luckily, it's not affected the code. But what I'm telling you is that how the commission looked at the whole thing that we have to see this. So this kind of thing. Then of course, Industrial Relations Commission, they suggested National Healthcare Insurance, Occupational Health and Safety, and National Policy. So this is the outcome of the entire thing. So if you look at the working population, lot of plus points are there. They recommend need-based minimum wages. They recommended this. Wage limit, no limit for ESI and PF. They said everyone, no limit. Today we got nothing, remove the entire thing. Everybody should be covered irrespective of their salary. Grievance redressal, I told you already. Definition of workmen to include all employees, production to managerial people. This also they added. Beneficial. Workers to be taken into confidence of service conditions, social acceptance. So you have to take them into confidence. You do it. That's your job. So they're comfortable for the union and whatnots. Unemployment in insurance scheme, unorganized sector umbrella legislation. This is exactly what is it. Now on the community support to industries, it is ruled the reverse. No relief under Section 9, I told you already. Commission said, industry must be helped to protect its viability and competitiveness. But how? No answers. No answers. So this is the outcome of the report. Grievance that the proposal leads to multiple increase. Definitely, if a worker has to raise a dispute, it will lead to multiple disputes. This is a big issue. Then onus on managerial effect, I told you already. Then need-based measures, but no obligation towards increase in productivity by worker. So they did not mention a word. A need-based living wages, it means that is cost to the company. At least how the productivity at least can be linked? No link. No. So what happened? Heavy penalties on employers. The commission also recommended there must be deterrence on the employers. Violation should never be tolerated. Put them heavy penalties. That's what they recommended. So friends, this is how the report says. Now all these 4 labor codes, what we are seeing today, more completely based on these bills and some changes here, there and all that. So this is the base of our, labor codes. This is the base. This is the basement. This is how it is. Now here I just made a explain. all the three reports, all the three reforms, how it is balanced. Royal Commission is only my perception. They have balanced one, which means that it is not one-sided. It is highly balanced. I think we should say that 1931 report is highly balanced one between working population and industries. Now, when you see the first commission report, it is not highly balanced. It is in favor of workers, not in favor of industries. And third one, again here, it is not in favor. So this is the kind of thing what we are facing today. Now, okay. Now, any doubts and clarification on this? We can spend our 5-10 minutes to clarify on this labor reforms. Any doubts, any questions? I will just share with you. Let's discuss it before I go to quick go through on this. Any doubts? Clear? Is it okay for you? My presentation is okay for you? Or you got any inhibitions? Is, oh, this one is boring and all that is okay.